What's up, y'all? Start the same way every time.
Sorry, I need a sip of coffee. It's really cold in the garage today.
Cold. Well, man, how's your week been?
It's been good. I've been tired, man. So, I know it probably sounds dumb because I'm on paternity leave. I think I have more time to sleep. But Oliver's actually, he's doing better at night, but he's not sleeping during the day as much. So it's cool, but I get to hang out with him a little more.
Yeah, a little more interaction.
So that's been good.
That's sick.
This past weekend, I got to film a little bit for a video on my own channel.
Yeah.
Because I could work on that a little bit. Still not done yet. I have a few things I got to film and change. I kind of underestimated or overestimated my abilities for this video. So.
Thinking you were going to get done a lot sooner than you did?
Yeah. But it's been good otherwise, though.
Nice. Sweet.
How about you?
It's been a good week. I was hung out with Amelia. I've worked a lot. Mostly work. We had a Grateful Dead cover band come to work, which was pretty interesting. There was like old people just dancing in the middle of like all the walkways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
I think the Grateful Dead is sick. But I've never understood the cult following. I don't know where it comes from. I
don't either.
I guess we never will because it's just a different generation. But I only know I know Grateful Dead. They have a few good songs, but I know John Mayer.
Yeah, I would say the Dead and Company when he played for them.
When he played for them, I checked them out and I was like, they're really, really good. But then I realized how much of a following they had.
Dude, it's insanity, and it's wild too. Is you look at the people and you're like, I don't feel like the music matches with how y'all act or dress or smell. I feel like there's just a ton of people that smell like the inside of what's that store?
Boscov?
Earthbound.
I don't know.
Earthbound.
Boscov. I think of old people.
Oh man, no, Earthbound. It just smells like pure incense and armpits.
Hey, hippies, man.
Dude, some of them tip pretty well though.
It's surprising.
It was surprising. I got $200 tips back to back.
That's awesome.
That was one of my better weeks in the off season. Usually doesn't happen, but
heck yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good, but it was a good time. So, yeah, anything planned for this week for you?
Just working on that video. Other than that, I need to get some actual shoots planned.
Yeah.
But right now, that stuff's just kind of on the back burner with having to take care of Oliver during the week. But yeah, what about you?
I'm saying this coming week, tomorrow, have that headshots, which is pretty cool. We did those last week. I did 2, but that turned into 50, which is growth. It's still free, a little pro bono,
man,
but
yeah.
I think it'd be exciting too. That's a ton of experience, and it's thrown all in one day, so it'll be a growing day. And I don't think everything's going to go as exactly how I want it, but I think that it's needed. And then it's a huge portfolio piece.
Yeah.
I can literally go to any other company and say, hey, I've done a company-wide headshots. I can do those for you. So we'll see. But that means I have to cold call people if I don't have any advertisement out there, which terrifies me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's rough. But I'm glad you mentioned that because that's today's episode's topic. Yeah. So, today we're just kind of going to talk about kind of both of our journeys as we're trying to make it in this creative industry. It's tough. It is really tough. I don't know, I've gone through so many things where I've been undercompensated, not compensated, or people the expectations of you are just, people don't understand the process. So I'm excited to talk about that today.
I don't think they get how long things should take or do take, and then also how much work it is on the back end. I can set up all my lights and that takes me an hour, and my backdrops, whatever, and someone walks in and I snap a picture in 30 seconds and I tell them how to pose and they're like, cool, in and out, but they don't understand that I now have to do all this back end work to it. I have to make sure that they look great. It's not just me pressing a button.
Yeah, I know. I did headshots one time for my job because they were like, hey, like use a camera, like you could do headshots, and we don't have any lighting, anything, and like people just don't understand, like you can't take a high quality professional headshot with a nice camera, like unless you want to pose them next to a window and they somehow have like, I don't know, it's insane.
There's a lot of variables that go into it. I don't think people understand.
No, and just like the editing afterwards, especially because I shot it using like natural light and all this stuff, it took forever for each individual photo.
Yeah.
And I had to, like, and it put me back on other things I had to get done for work. I think that people don't understand the editing process of how much it takes to really touch things, especially like headshots.
Yeah. I mean, just purely like trying to create that separation from the background and making sure everything's crisp, and
especially if there's a wrinkle in the background or this person, like, you want to make clear up their face a little bit, you know, you want to make their like different things you want to pop, like it's just, you want to touch up the eyes, you want to get rid of this subtle shadow that was cast, like I don't know, it's
a lot more than
it's a lot of
let
work.
on to. Yeah, that's for sure.
Especially when you're doing 50 of them.
It'll be a good time. It'll be growth.
Yeah.
I'll just keep saying that. And
Yeah.
I think that's like the thing is like with us trying to get into this whole, you know, media business, like trying to do something, is that there's just going to be a ton of growth. And like we do know a lot, but I think getting started is the daunting thing.
Oh yeah.
It's like it feels like there's so much weight there, but
yeah, I'm lucky though that for my full-time job I get to do a lot of video stuff.
yeah, that's a lot of practice.
For anyone that doesn't know, like I am a digital media and communication specialist. The video stuff has been fun, but the photography side of things for me has not clicked yet.
Yeah.
Which is like where it all started. I'll say like one of the first photo shoots I got paid for was probably one of the worst experiences of my life. I did a family shoot it was 5 immediate families.
Wow.
All wanting to photo shoot together because the grandparents, like the oldest generation, was having their 60th anniversary. So they all wanted pictures together. And just to make a long story short, directing that many people at once
sounds like a nightmare.
is horrible.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound sexist, but all the women in the family were trying to direct themselves or direct their own families, which made it hard because they all wanted themselves to look
the best.
And it was just like this competition almost to these families. The grandparents were just standing there, like they could tell they were just like ready to leave. It was just horrible. And then after it was all said and done, they made me retouch the photos. They said that like wasn't like the creative look wasn't what they wanted, and what they wanted was this oversaturated, horrible image.
Yeah.
Like they made me turn the water from like, so if you live on the East Coast, you know that the water is not bright blue.
Yeah.
They wanted it to look like it was some tropical water, and it was just horrible. Like it was just a horrible experience, and that's probably like the worst for me. But I'm glad I got paid for it.
Yeah. Is that what you feel like pushes you away from wanting to do photo?
That's definitely part of it. I think when they asked me to retouch the photos, that hurt a little bit.
Yeah, because you put your creative spin and what you thought was great on this.
And like, I even asked a ton of people that I knew who were photographers, weren't photographers, and almost anyone told me they liked the version that I edited, but I didn't tell them which one was mine. I just asked them which they preferred. But it's just sometimes when you work with people who are from different generations or have different tastes, you just have to bite the bullet. And I think that's, I don't know. I only want to do things that, this is like a great way, talking point into this next area is like, I only want to do things that I'm passionate about, but that's not how it works in the creative industry.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to get paid.
Yeah.
You have to make money and you have to sacrifice what you produce.
Yeah, so I think that was a big realization for me, was when that moment happened, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to just bite the bullet sometimes.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
I think that's what not led me to doing video before, but that made me realize that even if I'm doing a project for a company or somebody else, no matter what, the shots I get, the way that I edit is always going to be me.
Yeah.
No matter what the topic is.
Yeah. You could throw in a little sprinkle of what you love into a video
Mhm.
as to where a photo, if they don't like the colors, they're going to let you know and they're going to want you to change it.
Oh yeah,
It sucks.
it sucks a lot. But what about you? What would you say is your worst experience so far with photo, video, whatever?
I had this maternity shoot that this couple did not show up until the sun was setting. It was terrible. Just trying to rush, get things done. I'm just ragging on Caleb.
I would hate Yeah, that was me and Taylor.
I'm just ragging on you.
Yeah,
No,
that was stressful. But here's the thing: is I knew you were going through that, and I was so stressed out. And like I was telling Taylor, like I was trying to get her to hurry, but I was trying to do it in a way that like you don't want to tell a pregnant woman.
yeah.
So like I was like,
And that's what I think was Grace, as I understood where you were coming from. I knew you knew how I felt, and I think the photos turned out great. I think I was able to put a little bit of creative spin, and
honestly, my favorite pictures from that shoot were the ones that were taken when it was like almost dark.
it was the like grainy.
Yeah.
Like,
Which key a little pro tip: if you feel like a photo doesn't look good,
black and
just
white.
black and white, throw some grain on it,
Bro. Sometimes it'll save you because I liked the way that like there was a few that I took. I think one of my favorites of that whole shoot actually was y'all crossing the street, and there was a little bit of motion blur in it.
Mhm.
Throw black and white and then pop that grain on it. They looked good. I think it was like trying to create like a timeless photo without trying to overdo the trend of just an out of focus grainy picture. But
Sometimes it's a trend for a reason.
yeah,
So,
it looks good. It looks good, and I think like bringing in nostalgia is, I think, the biggest thing. Is I think that's what our generation is all about right now. From style to music to anything, is like those are the kind of photos we grew up with. Because film, it was just like that. It was grainy, and there was always motion blur. And I think we just want to recreate what made us feel good as kids. That got deeper than I thought it was going to. I just made that realization right now.
light bulb moment.
It's just a aha moment kind of thing. I don't think I've had a shoot though, to answer your question, that I felt like wildly uncomfortable about. I think it's just growing in each time I do it. I think some are harder than others. I've done a photo shoot with a girl and her dogs, and that was just like, it's interesting because like trying to direct a human what to do, and then also trying to get dogs to cooperate, like it doesn't work well. It's like understanding that sometimes you're just gonna have to like press the shutter and pray for some really good ones and then see what you can do on the back end. And that sounds bad, but like trying to get two dogs to pay attention to you while also having person pose well is difficult. But like I think everything's just a growing experience, making me feel a little more comfortable. So I've wanted to start, photography for a business for a while, but I think a long time I was just, I don't have what it takes. I don't like what I'm producing. Like kind of a little bit of that imposter syndrome of it's not good enough and like I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And then I think right now, like I've had my camera for about a year.
Sorry.
What?
I don't know. I just thought about if I laugh right now, it would really be awkward. And I started laughing. I hate that, dude. I'm so sorry.
Intrusive thoughts one.
Yeah, literally just got me big time. I did not mean to throw you off track. I'm so
That's
sorry.
fine. I just I feel now that I'm comfortable that I can offer my services and I can set a price and be like, this is what I deserve.
Yeah.
I was not like that for a long time. Like I've done a lot of family friends or just like my friends now that I have kids, done a lot of like family shoots. And I was like, no, don't pay me. Like obviously this is me growing. Like I want to build a portfolio. And some of those shoots I was like, dang, I'm good. Not every picture, but like there was a few that I was like super proud of. And like, just I can do this for a living. Now I just need to know how to market myself and actually do the business side because I feel confident in my creative abilities now, which I didn't for a while.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think that's kind of something that everyone goes through. I still go through it every day. Like imposter syndrome is real.
Yeah.
Very real.
I think I'm most critical about that stuff when I'm taking pictures of my family.
Yeah.
Or like something close to me, like that I truly care about. Because I don't feel that way when I do sub shoots.
Yeah.
I'm like, this just looks good, and I'm very happy with it.
That's funny because I'm the opposite.
Really?
Like when I'm taking pictures of friends or family, I feel like I'm not stressed out, or I'm comfortable enough to where I can kind of say like, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem directing people if it's like a small group, but it's just, I also don't, I think the style of photos are different too. When I'm doing family and friends, it's more of in the moment.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing like a scheduled paid shoot, it's posed, which is just something that I can't do. Like, it's just not that I can't do it, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
So like everyone has like their own focus and things that they enjoy doing. Like Chris is, if you don't know him, an awesome people person. He's very social, super easy to talk to. He can like talk you into like feeling comfortable, where he'll just be like, have like a nice softer voice where I'm just kind of like, I need you to do this. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. It's tough. Like I like to do, I like to be kind of a chameleon, where I want to be at an event. I want to capture moments that are happening. Not that you don't want to do that, but you know what I mean? Like, like you are just really good with people and I'm not. So I know that the only way that I'm going to get things that I'm proud of, or things that it's just my style. I like capturing moments that are happening where it looks like the person doesn't know that I'm recording them or taking their picture.
Yeah.
So
are you describing a second shooter?
Basically.
I'm just kidding.
I'm basically describing how not to make money in the industry.
You're going to be my lackey. It's fine. I understand.
Yeah. The problem is that's where I've been struggling with, though. Like, that's where I've been kind of, it sucks because for me personally, like not really wanting to do shoots like that, it's hard to make money.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money's at.
It's funny the difference between us, just as like an example of like when I went to Disney, we were at Animal Kingdom and there was this like the Africa section in there. There's this like really cool, like it looked like it'd been painted, 30 years ago on the wall, and it had like really nice texture on the wall, like that plaster and everything. And I wanted this picture, and I had this creative idea in my head, and I wanted to figure out a way to actually show it. And I took one without Kirsten in it, and then I was like, all right, well, Kirsten, you get in it. I love taking photos of my wife. She's gorgeous, makes it really easy. But like I captured this photo, and I think me editing it, I spent so much time, and then I went back and I re-edited it like 6 times, because in my head I'm like trying to create this gigantic creative vision, and I don't feel like I can ever hit what I want, or adequately show. And my first edit was the one that everyone's liked the most. It was just so weird to me. Like I spent all this time like reworking it, like tinkering with it, trying to create, different looks with the light and the shadows, because it has a lot of harsh light and really dramatic shadow lines. And I think it was super cool, but the first edit was like what everyone liked.
Yeah.
It's just so weird to me.
That does happen a lot, though. I feel like sometimes you just have to take a step away from the screen when you're editing, or save it, come back to it next morning if it's a picture, or if you have time to do that.
Yeah.
Just because when you're editing so many different versions, or like you first edit this photo, I feel like that first edit almost becomes like the raw in your brain.
Yes.
Like the raw image.
I think that's what
so
happened.
It's like you start to see this as the base versus the final product. So then every time you add contrast, or you try to give it this creative look, every time you add to it, it looks better and better.
Yeah.
But then if you actually take a step back and you take a break and come back, and holy crap, that looks like an over edited, like, I don't know. So
doesn't look as natural.
I know that's happened.
Yeah, you're just, sometimes I feel like we just do too much because we want it to be pristine.
Yeah.
It's still my favorite photo I've ever taken, which is crazy, because I didn't like it, but now every time I look back at my first edit, I'm like, I see what everyone was talking about. They were right. So it's nice to have an outside perspective every once in a while, or most of the time. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that challenge where you take the same raw photo and you have like 5 different photographers edit it. I think that would be fun to do sometime.
Yeah.
We
got to get a few people to.
Yeah.
That would be cool, just to see people's different takes on it. I've seen that trend on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they'll send you see the raw photo and you're like, it looks good. And then like what it could be after that, or like what, I think the biggest thing is like a lot of people don't know is like a lot of the edits on a creative side is like what you're envisioning, like that is what that looked like to you.
Yeah.
It's like intaking, especially I think the one I saw was like with concerts. And a lot of the times people will always like show the little bit of their emotion or how that, whatever that moment was like try to show it through the picture, and seeing other photographers like takes on that is super cool.
Yeah,
Pretty interesting.
I've always liked seeing that, and I think it's kind of, it reinforces the fact that no matter what, as a creative, you shouldn't get down on yourself, because we all have different visions.
Yeah.
Like, just because someone went this route doesn't mean it's the best route or it's the only route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I can get lost in that sometimes, is I'm too worried about what other people are doing, that I'm more worried about trying to look a certain way than I am just doing what I think looks good. But I've gotten better about that. But like when I first started out, like that was really hard not to.
Yeah, especially when you see like with Instagram or any social media, you follow these people who are crushing it, and you're like, I need to emulate this, and it's like, no, I don't. I just need to produce what I like, what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's just a really hard thing to do, because I do that a lot. I think like I have to step away from like looking at other photographers' things, because I'm like trying to emulate them. I'm like, that's actually not my style. Let me get back to like what I like and how I feel a photo should look.
Yeah. Another thing is, like, I'm kind of like asking you this question because I've been dealing with it some too, is how have you dealt with scheduling like gigs or photo shoots or anything like that while still having a full-time job and a family?
I've actually been terrible at this. And I think this is like something, because I had talked about with the goals that like I want to sit down with my wife to help me create a business plan, because she works in equipment finance, but she's a big deal. Like she crushes her job, and she's very savvy with that kind of stuff. And for her to help me kind of create a structure, I think is something I need, because I feel great about the creative side.
Yeah.
Terrible at the business side, and I know that. And so if that's, it's not my strong suit, is to get someone to help me do that.
Yeah, unfortunately in this industry, it's marketing is
huge,
almost more important than your skill set.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you can market yourself well, then like you're in front of more people's eyes. So I think just right now creating a plan is something I need to do, and then understanding most days, like I have certain days off, and unfortunately like having to schedule people on my days off, which sucks because I'm not getting a break from work, but also those sacrifices now will hopefully lead into, being able to leave my job and doing what I love full time, which would create more open. But I'm off every Monday, I'll say, and then every Sunday. I don't want to do shoots on those days, but if that's what I need to do to make sure that I can continue to grow, I think that's like the only thing I can do.
Yeah. It's definitely been a struggle for me.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a paid shoot or even if it's just creative inspiration, like just trying to go out and film something. Like it just happened to me last week actually, where there's this guy who's kind of local. He's a surfer, and he's sponsored by Salty Crew, but he also has a couple friends that he surfs with.
Yeah.
That are like some local dudes from Jersey or Ocean City, and they rip. And like getting the opportunity to film these dudes is pretty sick, because if they share your stuff, it gets good exposure, and like that's something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Like doing video, especially in that community, like getting more involved in like the local surf community and getting to know those people and kind of getting inside of that circle. Because once you get in with that circle, like that can lead to
a lot more.
Yeah. And, like, these aren't just like anybody. Like there's a people that have connections in the industry, even if it doesn't turn into me becoming like a surf videographer, which isn't necessarily what I want to do, but they have connections to brands, all these things. But long story short, this guy, I met him like probably 6 months ago. Yeah. I was down in Ocean City on one of these days the swell was really big, and he saw me out there, got my contact info. I sent him one of the clips I got him. I got a clip of him getting tubed, which is pretty sick.
On the East Coast? That's huge.
So since I got that shot, that led to me getting his information, which then led to him. He's invited me out like 8 times to like go out with him and some of his buddies to like record them. Yeah. And I've gone once since I've met him. But it's just because of working full time, I can't go during the week. And then on the weekends, if I do that type of stuff, I'm sacrificing time with Taylor and Oliver.
Yeah.
So not that I'm upset about it, but it's just kind of one of those things where you have to learn that balance.
You're going to miss opportunities because there's other things in life that are important.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's super hard when you're wanting to chase after this dream, or I feel like that can be anything besides like the creative outlet like that we want. Is just like pursuing something that makes us happy, but also still balancing it out with the responsibilities and with time, with family, or anything like that. It's not easy.
And it definitely can jack up your mental health some days when you think about like, it's really easy to get caught up in a what if scenario.
Yeah. What if I did this one thing? Would my life be the exact same?
Yeah. Or like would something take off? Like, who knows? But I don't know. It's tough, but you just can't like think about those types of things and just kind of have to move forward, like knowing that like as long as you just keep doing what you want to do, the opportunities will come. Like the fact, like the reason I even have this opportunity is because I just went out and one random day and saw that this opportunity was here, did it, and then another opportunity came. So
yeah, I mean, you progressed further than you would have if you decided to stay at home that day.
Exactly.
The swell was nice. So
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's just you can't get caught up in that kind of stuff, but that's just one of those things that it's inevitable as a creator or someone who is in this creative industry with a family.
Yeah,
it's not like if you're 20 years old and you're watching this and you are just got a camera, then don't like just get out there and do it.
Yeah, chase after. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a camera or any certain goal. Like, just pursue it, push it. Like if you have the time, go for it. It's
exactly.
like my biggest thing.
You start like.
Absolutely. I mean, like you look at all the prodigies of like anything they do. It's like they started when they were young and they just stuck to it. The fact that I think that's like the biggest thing they talk about with like creatives, or I think about anything that people are so good at or known for. Like thinking like for me, it's creative, but there's like people who have started skateboarding when they were 8, like Najee.
Yeah.
Insane. He's wild. He started when he was so young, but people look at him now. Najee.
You've been watching way too much football, man.
Yeah.
Najee Houston.
Yep. Sorry.
Man.
Fantasy was like all of football was taking over my life. I made my money back. I'm gonna get in a tangent if I start talking about football, but like with people like
a different episode.
Yeah, it's a lot of heartbreak is what football is to me. Just like thinking about like someone's had something and they stuck with it, and there's people look at them now and they're like, wow, they're so young, but they are at this like the highest tier level. That's because they just never quit.
Exactly.
And I think about that now. It's like I could be frustrated with where I am on the creative outlet or like where I am photography, but if I just don't quit, where will I be in a year? Like if I would have quit when I got discouraged the first time, I wouldn't be anywhere close as good as I am, or as like have that vision that of what I want. Like I just need to stick to it. And that's like everything with anybody who's watching, or it's like you have this idea of like what you want to do with your life. Just go for it and just stick it out. It's going to suck. It just is. So it's like, that's the biggest thing is the consistency and not giving up on it. It's huge.
Thanks for explaining my story, but in a much better way. That's the point I was trying to get across, but I felt like I just kind of started rambling.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's like, trying to get a point across is always helpful in a conversation. Yeah. I feel like even though a lot of the times we have a schedule for this podcast, there's some things that are said just because we started talking about something, and it snowballs into like thoughts, and those light bulb moments. But now I'm thinking about football. They play today. Steelers play today.
Yeah, they're gonna lose today.
I hope not.
Why?
Because if the Steelers the Steelers win, that means they play the Ravens, and I think the Ravens have a better chance of beating the Steelers than the Texans. Personally, Texans offense is wild right now. CJ Stroud.
I don't like the Texans.
I don't. You don't like them because they knocked the Colts out.
Yeah,
it sucks to be you.
But anyway,
so this small tangent that we're on. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl as of now? We can call this out later,
dude.
We'll have it documented.
I know I just said I hated the Texans, but I actually put money on the Texans to win the Super Bowl. Just because I think that they're completely underrated. CJ Stroud's underrated, and they had really good odds. So it was a nice little risk. I hope they win the Super Bowl now because I put money on them. But realistically, I think 49ers are
49ers?
the best bet.
Okay.
I think they're just the best overall team in football.
Even though they got demolished by the Ravens?
It doesn't matter. It's regular season.
Ah.
Regular season football is different.
It is.
When you already know you're probably going to make the number 1 seed, even if you lose, like, your drive's different.
Yeah. I think, and this is coming from me being a Ravens fan, I think whoever they play next week is going to be a struggle because of so much time off and like understanding that I watch this team so much. But if they can get past this first game, and it's probably going to be an absolute mess, they'll be so sloppy. But if they win, I think they have a chance.
That would stink if both your favorite teams get knocked out after being on bye weeks.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
He's a Dodgers fan.
Yeah, let's not talk about the playoffs for the MLB.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it either. So.
I cried. Might have cried a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Braves fan, so I don't want to talk about it either.
Almost every number 1 seed in baseball got knocked out.
Yeah.
Besides the Astros,
That's
right?
another tangent we can get on, dude.
Oh,
I
dude.
hate the playoff structure. But anyway, back to the reason we're talking in the first place.
Hey, man, conversations are fun.
Oh, I know, I'm just messing. But one thing I do want to talk about though is our business plans for the year. Because I know that's both a big goal for both of us. We just kind of talked about a lot of the struggles we've been through and things we've had to put up with to get better. But now I feel like we've been through a lot, and we're still not both. We both have a long ways to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do think we've gotten to a point where it's time for us to really think about our businesses, because we've gone through the hiccups. We did like the Delaware State Fair job together.
Yeah.
Which was huge growing pains.
That was a struggle.
Yeah.
That was a huge struggle. And I'm still not happy with what we did, but
I know
it was.
But like I feel like we're so much better for it. But basically, all those things, we've been through a whole lot. Now that I've had my camera for probably not even a year yet, is it?
No, it's over a year.
I bought my camera in February
February
of 2023.
Well, I guess it's not been a year.
Hasn't even been a year yet. That's weird.
It feels like forever.
It feels like I've had it for years.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like we've been through a lot. We've already done so much. I feel like now it's time to really go hard. So like, what would you say are your plans for the year to really finally implement your business and get it started?
Get an LLC to start. I think like the scariest part for me is like I have to invest in myself. Like I have to pay money to start all this.
Mm-hmm.
And once I do that, like it's game on. I have to be serious. And I think that kind of scares me that I don't want to say not have the drive, but like I'll kind of be lackadaisy with it, if you know what I mean. Like I won't pursue it full force. I think like knowing that once I do that, like I just have to like hit the ground running. And I think the thing that scares me most with I want to do a ton of creative shoots and I want to do like weddings and things like that. But on the other side, I'd love to get into, like we had talked about, and I have the shoot tomorrow, it's like doing headshots on the corporate side, just because I know there's a ton of money in that. But to get those jobs right now, I'd have to cold call. And that sounds awful.
Yeah. That's just nature of the beast, man.
Yeah. And I know that once I have my first one and someone tells me no, or they tell me yes, whatever it is, like I just made the call. I took a risk and I did it. Because the worst thing they'll say is no.
Exactly.
And I'll be exactly where I'm at, but more experienced, I think is huge. Besides that, I was like just creating a structure, I think is going to be the biggest thing, is having a place for people to, one, inquire about me, a way to distribute my galleries that I'm happy with, and then the whole billing side, I think, is like understanding the taxes and things like that. I think that's a big thing, is like I had talked about earlier, is having Kirsten help me with the business plan of everything. But something she said to me is like, I don't have to be good at every part of the business. I just have to know what I'm good at and what I'm not, and like delegate outside. It's like the taxes and things like that, I'm not doing them. I'm gonna hire somebody.
Yeah.
Or like,
no way around it.
Absolutely not. It's like it has to be done, and that scares me. So why don't I just have someone else do it who's good at it?
Yeah. So you know it's not gonna get screwed up.
Yeah, because I think that's my biggest fear, is I'm gonna screw something up that I'm creating a business. And
Cops are gonna show up at your door.
Fraud. Yeah, the IRS is gonna be here, and I'm just gonna be screwed. But yeah, I think understanding my strengths once I get started and not being ashamed that I'm not gonna be able to do it all. So that's the biggest thing. Is like I want to do it all. I shouldn't.
Yeah, I think it's the hard part too. Is you just want to everything want to be perfect from the rip.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's never going to be like. And the thing is it's never going to get to that point until you start.
Yeah.
And then as you start, you'll grow and get better.
And what we said earlier, I just like the creative, like starting this kind of thing or any business, it was always daunting at the beginning because you have like this wide variety of like tasks that you need to complete. And you're like, I need to do them all right now. I'm like, no, I don't. I need to do one. And then I just need to go to the next one. I can handle it all one at a time. I can't handle it all at once.
Yeah. You think McDonald's started as like a million food chains, like a million restaurants?
Yes,
like, it was
started
one
as
restaurant.
one and then they grew. That's everything.
That's the way it is.
Absolutely.
But with all that being said, what is something you could do this week to get like? What's the next thing you need to do to get started that you could do this week?
That I could do this week? I could go buy an LLC. I can be official. Which I should just go do.
Yeah. You think that's like that's the next step that will get you to get the ball rolling?
I think that would because I've spent money on myself, I would have to.
Like then that'll make you do the business plan. That'll make you start to create the website, all that stuff.
Absolutely. And I think it's like one of the two is like either creating my business plan and having a structure would get me to go buy the LLC and all of that, or vice versa. I think.
What do you think would make you do what first? Do you think LLC would get you up and going after it more?
I think
than
so.
The business plan?
I think so. Just because I haven't made the plan yet, and I've talked to my wife about wanting to sit down and do it, and we just haven't done it. Which is like on me. It's like, oh, we have time to sit down and do something else, so like let's do that instead. So I think probably sounds like I know what I'm doing with my week.
Yep, I'm about to say next episode you need to have at least one of those.
One of the two done.
I know that I would say half to get the LLC, but it costs money, and that's
tight.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what's gonna happen, but definitely
absolutely.
Either the business plan or the LLC has to be done by next episode, or I'm gonna delete this channel.
Oof. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Gosh, how about you? What are you gonna do this week?
Just this week?
We'll push you forward. Like,
Yeah,
what's a step that you have to take?
I think for me, getting like a website laid out and built. I think once I have that set up, like once I have the thing that I need to promote myself, I'll be able to put myself. I don't know. I feel better about putting myself out there and
a little more organized display of your gallery.
I think that's kind of been something that's holding me back is setting up my website because it's a lot of work. And there's so many ways you can do it, and it's just kind of overwhelming. Like, do I want to use this company or this company to do it? Do I want to set it up where I'm doing prints and different things like that? I'm like, no, I don't want to do prints. Not there yet.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many things that go through my head, or it's just, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
Because you have different ways you can set up your shop, or if you just want to do it where it's just a booking website or it's simple. I don't know. But I think that's what's made it hard for me because I think once I have an established brand with an established website, I'll have no problem like putting myself out there, setting my schedule, and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But website would be for mine.
It's a ton of work.
Yeah.
So this week, are you looking? Is there like one specific like company you want to run your website through, or are you just like have no clue?
I was thinking just doing Squarespace.
Okay.
Just because it has the flexibility of changing things. Or I can have different pages.
Yeah.
Because I think I want to have different options. I know it'd be easy if I just went to a booking website that they kind of just have a template and I'm just like, okay,
you drop in
do this with booking and calendar. But I think I want to offer a little bit more than just like I want to be able to sell things, like sell products at some point.
Yeah.
Which I know is a little bit more ambitious to think that your stuff is worthy of that. But I'm not saying that I want to do that now, but I know that I will later. Even if it doesn't sell anything, I'll want to like set that up.
Yeah, you have the option instead of trying to rework it later when you feel comfortable, but like just setting it out there from the beginning, it'd be different.
From what I've looked into, I feel like Squarespace is kind of like the simplest way to incorporate all of that. So I think if I just send it on Squarespace, set it up, it's kind of not too hard to like design your website with that way because they have templates and stuff that are pretty good.
Nice.
So I think that's
Cool.
it for me.
That's awesome. Progress.
Yeah.
I think it's just like I keep going back to it instead of saying we have to do it all at once, one task at a time.
Yep.
Goes back to everything in life.
Yep. Yeah. But I'm excited though. I think having those things that we have to do, I think we should start doing that every week.
Yeah, creating
Like trading like something to it, whether it's for our business or if it's just something, but having like every episode kind of giving ourselves each a challenge that we have to have accomplished by next episode.
Yeah, setting short-term goals that are easy to accomplish.
Yeah, to work towards our bigger ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Baby steps.
So, quick knife check.
Oh, I'm oh no,
You don't have yours?
no!
You're not
Where'd
a
it
dad.
go?
You're not a dad.
I really was appendix carrying it earlier. I don't know where it went. That's embarrassing.
Well, you failed.
I'm not a dad anymore.
I'll tell you what you're not going to do next week.
Forget my knife?
Yeah.
I had it on me. I don't know where it went. I really don't know where it went. I could have swore I was appendix carrying it earlier.
All right, well, next week, Chris is going to have a business plan or an LLC and a knife on him.
And my kniffy.
Kniffy.
Kniffy. Phonetically. It is correct.
I hate that.
I know.
Well,
Ooh, let me see your knife. See, dad tricks. Oh, wait. How do we close yours? Oh, now I'm an idiot.
is that going to make the cut?
The cut?
I'm going to leave it in the cut.
I hope you do. I thought you were making a knife joke.
That didn't even click. Oh, my God. Shut it off.
Sweet. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Oh, my hip again. Dude. I stop doing that.